minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I'm delighted to speak this morning in support of the Canada-United States-Mexico Agreement, Bill C-4. And I want to start by acknowledging that we're gathered here on the traditional lands of the Algonquin peoples. And let me take this opportunity, Madam Speaker, to thank our Deputy Prime Minister and her outstanding team for their effort in securing this deal for Canada. There were many moments of angst, but our minister was diligent and focused on getting not just any deal, but the best deal for all Canadians. The new CUSMA is a big win for Canadian businesses, Canadian jobs, and Canada as a whole. This agreement solidifies our government's resolve to expand trade across the world through agreements such as CETA, CPTPP, and a renewed NAFTA. This agreement will help our middle class grow and allow more jobs to be created right here in Canada. And this agreement has wins for all parts of the country and in many, many sectors. Madam Speaker, trade is more important today than at any other time, and access to other markets free of tariffs allow us to compete around the world, and it also gives our businesses certainty and predictability. This agreement allows for over 500 million people in North America to trade freely, to move freely, and to be able to build an area of trade that is unprecedented in the world. As we saw just last Friday, Madam Speaker, in Europe, after 47 years, we saw our good friends, the United Kingdom, exit out of the European Union. We know that many parts of the world are contracting in trade, and this is an opportunity, I think, for Canada and for North America to shine as we solidify and we reaffirm our interconnectedness, the people-to-people ties, and the enormous economic benefits that we have seen over the last 24 years through NAFTA. This builds on NAFTA, and in fact, it advances in many significant ways. And I want to just outline a few key points in this agreement, Madam Speaker. First, there's a lot of conversation on agriculture and the very important issue of supply management. This was central to our negotiations in this agreement, and as you can see, Madam Speaker, supply management is secured in this agreement. It allows our farmers to benefit from existing policies, and of course, it does open up a little bit of market share to others, but fundamentally it does secure for all farmers the supply management system that we have. It's important because Canada-U.S. bilateral agriculture trade was $63 billion in 2017. Canada-Mexico bilateral agricultural trade was $4.6 billion in 2017. So together, it represents close to $70 billion in trade, and this allows us and allows our farmers to be secure in the work that they do. And of course, for those who are affected, we will compensate them. We will have checks going to them as early as this month. The auto sector is something that's very important to our economy. It affects us across the country, but particularly in Ontario and particularly in Scarborough, where we have had a lot of auto workers and a lot of auto-related jobs. But we know in the last 25 years we've lost many jobs. I grew up in a place called the Golden Mile, which is walking distance from my apartment. And in the Golden Mile area, we had Ford, we have GM, we had many auto manufacturers and suppliers. And over the years, we saw many of these jobs move. But what's critical is that there still is a very strong auto industry in Canada. And we see the pressures in Europe. We see countries like Germany, countries like France, countries like the United Kingdom who are struggling to maintain a strong auto industry. And I believe this agreement will ensure that the Canadian auto industry remains strong and vibrant and will ensure high-paying jobs for Canadians going forward. As you know, Mr. Speaker, on November 30th, our government signed a side agreement which essentially ensures us against possible 232 tariffs on cars and car parts, and this is critical for protection of auto jobs. Canada is in fact the only G7 country to have such protection, and it really does allow us to advance the auto industry. Permit me to speak very briefly on the cultural exemption that was negotiated in this agreement. As you know, I was previously Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Canadian Heritage, and in that role I met with many different stakeholders in the cultural sectors. In fact, there are over 650,000 quality jobs for the middle class that's a result of our cultural industries. There are 75,000 jobs alone just in Quebec, and it's a $53.8 billion industry. Essentially, this is an important part of our economy. It also is an important part of who we are as a people, and the cultural exemption provisions really does allow our cultural industries to continue without its ability to create content being diluted, and it's such an important part of this agreement. One thing that there's a great deal of skepticism when the minister and our government spoke about protection for the environment, for gender equality, and for labor. There is a great deal of criticism from others saying that this is a trade agreement. We should not bring in issues that may appear to be ancillary to trade into these discussions. And I'm very proud to say that we did not give in to that. We knew and we know that we can have good trade and good social policies at the same time, and we can advance many important values that Canada espouses through these trade agreements. This particular agreement is an example of how we were able to do that. On the environment, we have, for the first time, we're ensuring that we're upholding air quality in flights, marine pollution. We believe that commitments to high levels of environmental protection are an important part of not just this trade agreement, but all trade agreements. And they protect our workers, and they protect our planet. On gender equality, we worked hard to achieve a good deal that benefits everyone, but particularly to ensure that provisions that protect women's rights and minority rights, Indigenous rights, and environmental protections are the strongest in any of our agreements that we have currently, which also includes protection for labor and to ensure that there are minimum standards that are across our three countries. And this is why I believe, because of a variety of reasons, we have Canadians from many different backgrounds who are in fact supporting this agreement. For example, Premier Moe of Saskatchewan has said a signed USMCA trade deal is good news for Saskatchewan and for Canada. Hassan Youssef, the president of the Canadian Labour Congress, has said this agreement gets it right on labour provisions, including provisions to protect workers against employment discrimination on the basis of gender. I can speak for much longer, Mr. Speaker, but I do want to conclude by saying that this is a very important step in protecting our economy, creating middle-class jobs, ensuring our businesses are able to compete, ensuring that Canadians have access, secured access to this 500 million market, and this is an important step forward in advancing our economy. And I look forward to all parties coming together to support this agreement. This is not, no agreement is perfect, but there is sufficient benefits here in many sectors and across the country that warrant the support of all parties. And I look forward to questions from my colleagues. Thank you.